So today I'm testing the SONOFF BASIC-1GSP. It's like a massive smart plug for your electrical panel, designed to control and monitor the energy for an entire circuit in your home. And they've sent me not one, but two of these things, free for review. But sadly, this one is just a demo unit with a transparent shell, so that I can show you how it works. So let's open it up and take a closer look. Hi, I'm James, and I've been building out my smart home for years, with products from just about every manufacturer out there, figuring out what works and what doesn't. So at its core, this is a Matter over Wi-Fi switching device with power monitoring built in. But the interesting part is really how it's designed internally. A lot of products in this category are basically just relay boards with soldered connections everywhere. But SONOFF have clearly gone down a more industrial route. One of the main things that they talk about is the integrated terminal and relay design, which reduces the number of solder joints internally. Now, I'm obviously not saying that solder joints are automatically bad, but fewer thermal stress points and fewer potential failure points is generally a good thing in equipment that may be switching significant loads quite regularly. And by significant, I mean up to 32 amps, which is enough to switch a typical socket circuit here in the UK. The enclosure itself is pretty impressive, and I'm talking about the real opaque unit, of course. It uses a PC and glass fibre composite housing with a V0 flame retardant rating, and it does feel pretty solid in the hand. Not like your typical cheap smart home gadget, more like a proper DIN rail electrical equipment solid, which is exactly what you want for something sitting quietly inside your consumer unit for years on end. Another impressive thing here is that this unit uses an all-copper conduction path internally. Now, again, this sounds like marketing speak, but in practical terms, that means lower resistance and less heat generation under load. And as we all know, heat is the enemy in electrical equipment. According to SONOFF, even under continuous full load operation at 50 degrees Celsius ambient temperature, the temperature rise stays under 25K. Now, I'm obviously not running a lab test setup here, but I do appreciate seeing manufacturers actually discuss thermal performance in detail, instead of just quoting a relay amperage number and calling it a day. And another feature that matters more than you might realise is double pole switching. This unit disconnects both the live and the neutral simultaneously, rather than only switching the live conductor, like many cheaper smart switch solutions do. And for my use case, that distinction is actually quite important. You'll see why in a moment. If I ever need to kill power to, say, my downstairs sockets, I want proper electrical isolation, not just technically off unless something weird happens. Especially when we're talking about something like water ingress, which is a bigger problem than you might realise. SONOFF are also using a latching relay. Now, the nice thing about latching relays is that they don't need continuous power to maintain their state, which is generally more efficient and can further help reduce heat buildup. They also quote faster switching speeds and improved protection response compared to conventional relay setups. And then there's also the dual contact staggered switching design, which is apparently intended to reduce inrush stress from capacitive loads. Again, whether you care about the engineering details or not, the important thing here to remember is that somebody actually thought about relay wear and tear and overall longevity. And that matters when this thing may end up switching circuits thousands of times over its life. Now finally, onto my use case. Where I live, flooding has become a genuine concern. In fact, just last year, 3 houses down from mine had their entire downstairs ruined by floodwater. Some damage that has come through from the downpour. This blind here is soaked and it's dripping down here. And ever since then, I wanted a way to easily isolate all of my downstairs socket circuits if that ever happened here. And this is where I think products like this make the most sense. Not necessarily as gimmicky smart home gadgets, but as practical infrastructure devices. For me, this isn't about turning lights on with my voice. It's about remotely isolating socket circuits if my street floods again, and protecting my home from further damage and repair costs. But it's not just there for emergencies. Day to day, you can monitor your entire circuit's energy usage as long as your smart home has caught up to the Matter 1.3 spec. And if you use Home Assistant, that means that you can visualize your whole home's energy usage on the amazing built-in energy dashboard. Overall, I am very impressed with this thing. Not because it's trying to reinvent electrical switching, but because the engineering choices seem genuinely smart. It has better thermal handling, double pole isolation, latching relay, quality housing materials, and generally feels like a product designed by people who understand the environment that it's going to live in. So if you are looking at smarter circuit level control and monitoring, especially for safety reasons rather than just basic home automation, then this is definitely a strong option. And in my case, it solved a very real problem before it becomes a worse one. If you would like to buy one, the links will as always be in the description and on my website. And if you use them, I'll earn a small commission at no cost to you, so thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you also for watching, and as always remember, home is where the smart is.